for the longest time, I always viewed the Saints as the team I hated the most. They had Drew Brees, they had arrogance, and they had sympathy from Katrina victims. And now the Saints, I think, finally for the first time in a good decade or decade plus, I think we can safely say this might be the year they return to the Aints. And honestly, I'm all for it. Hey everybody, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic, and today we're talking about the Saints of the preview of the 2025 NFL season. So the New Orleans Saints did draft a quarterback, and it wasn't Shedeur Sanders. We all know that. They have officially named Spencer Rattler, a quarterback they drafted last year, to be the starting quarterback, which makes you wonder, what about Tyler, the guy you got from Louisville? Wasn't he supposed to be? And I guess you're not that confident about him? Okay, so already feeling like we're taking a few steps back before the starting line, and it's not a good thing. So the Saints, you have a lot of old players that I think a lot of them will be viewed as trade casualty when it comes towards the trade deadline, so don't be surprised. But your big matchups to me, Saints fans, Week 8 versus Tampa. If you want to have any chance to make any type of a rattle, any type of a whistle in this playoff season, and you always love, spoiling the Buccaneers season, Week 8 versus Tampa is a good litmus test to see, hey, let's see if we can take down potentially a team that's looking at beyond just division winners for the 5th year in a row. Take on Tampa Bay, sink their pirate ships, prove that you're not quitting, and the season may not be great, but at least you're not going to quit. That's what you can do, and I think spoiling a Buccaneers season might be the way to go for the Saints. Week 12, hosting Atlanta. Same rules apply with Tampa Bay. Atlanta has high expectations. Michael Penix wants to prove that last year's draft selection wasn't complete, football on the ownership and general manager side. Prove them wrong by proving that Michael Penix may not be the guy they thought they were and spoil the Falcons season. You guys love doing that anyway. You have massive history of ruining the Falcons season. Quite frankly, I love when I watch two siblings fight and I'm not involved. So maybe taking down the Falcons, pluck their feathers, and put the dirty bird back into the cooler. And then Week 15, Carolina. If Carolina had any hope for the season, maybe you want to derail their season of any hope of a playoff berth or just a positive winning season. Do that. Prove that maybe Dave Canales may not be the guy, and prove that Young may be literally too young to compete in his next year. So, yeah, be spoilers in your own division by sinking the pirate ship, pluck the feathers of the Falcons, and put the Black Panther down and Wakanda forever. So that's what would be for Saints, but that's the best case scenario. Your highest point, Saints fans, is 6-11. Now, there may be some more professional New Orleans Saints commentators out there who will probably say 6-11 is too much of a high point. But I'm saying I believe the Saints somehow, some way will find a way to steal a few games they probably should not have won. And they might lose games that might be closer than what they actually expected. I think a lot of injuries really derailed the Saints season, and also not really a lot of commitment and consistency when it came to the quarterback play last year. To me, I feel like they're a little more confident. I do believe if everyone's healthy, they have a chance to steal games. Hell, they have a chance to be even more competitive. But having double-digit losses, I still see in the future. So our worst case, 7-10, but 6-11 might be the best case scenario for Saints fans. And it might be just so out of reach, you won't get a top 10 pick, not top 10 pick, but the top pick in the draft. But if you want to get that top pick in the draft, I think the Saints' best expectation is a 3-14 season. That's right, 3 wins, and for all I know, it might be literally against Tampa, Atlanta, and Carolina. That might be your only 3 wins of the season. All at home, who dat, we get that. Number 1 pick in the draft goes to New Orleans. And then we can see what you guys really do with that pick. You guys just drafted a quarterback. You skipped on Shedeur Sanders. Are you going to do that again this year? Or next year's draft, I should say? I don't know. MVP candidate for the Saints, I'm giving to Alvin Kamara, who I am going to say, I'm going to put $10 down that I do not have, that he'll be traded. If the season becomes lost by the trade deadline, Alvin Kamara will be traded. To who? I'm going to say teams like Green Bay. I'm going to say teams like the Rams. I'm going to say teams like the 49ers. I'm going to say teams like the Bills. I'm going to say teams like the Ravens. I'm going to say playoff contending teams will be trading for Alvin Kamara's last half of the season to get him over the hump as an added weapon. And I don't think it's going to happen, but could you imagine if Sean Payton gets Alvin Kamara in Denver? Just think about that for a second there. Yeah, kind of scary. And the verdict for the Saints fans, I'm going to say top 10 pick. I might even say top 5. Top 5 pick. You got to be in the top 5. I will say the Saints and the Giants both have a good chance to literally be in the number 1 pick in the draft. Now, will the Saints get Arch Manning? I don't know. I just saw the Ohio State game, so we'll see what the season tells you about that one. But I have a hard time looking at a team that just got a quarterback and then they're going to get another quarterback next year after. I mean, it worked for the Carolina Panthers with Jimmy Clausen, and it worked with the Cardinals when they got Rosen, and then they got Kyle Murray. So maybe that's the case. The Saints will get a better quarterback in Arch Manning, or whoever's the top quarterback in this year's draft in 2026. But for Saints, verdict, top 10 pick. Who dat? Sorry about that. So that's the Saints. We'll go down the line. We're going to go to the Dirty Birds as they have high expectations for the season. And I'm going to say, maybe not. So until then, I'm Cortez and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.